yam general level topic ama. So we are going to warm up, okay? Aiju isana content je prepare to one level ko ado and talk for the class and talk for the this is the first batch, okay? So na with that we need to warm up, okay? So na warm up to was the kind alive sure report akona to one level ko. So ana nasi content class ki ko to si kay no hamatam sida topic si kay no hamatam sida ko na so si kay hal ne governance governance oidoni ko yam boring juga to right kay no hamatam sida ko na governance ko na changai se media changai governance ni ko ko to si ko governance ko na tum so yo de yadra ba hadi pot amane ba ko so governance ki matang da ko na kay expect to ya hamatam sida essay da expect to ya ko direct question oina governance ki direct oina natraga essay da ko na indirect oina ko indirect oina essay da ko matam sida dimension am hapa adu punni yeng selu ta ga di ko nurul huda ya ko so dana thing mai ni ko mathang dei di I'll try to maintain the 5 p.m. okay so adu do ka asi do ka kana tau he ka so anu ba ado ba hai ta anu ba kana hai ta de so ing khang ko na ko hadi kona business ka tawga family ka tawga ndadi boy becomes man ga hai jo khang ko hadi lai khom do ya do yi angle de lai ba hadi responsibility me am lak ba khoi hana boy oi mo do ya de khang na ko adu khang ye da nga si lai khom ma je putok to ya de ba khang ba lai khom no bai damak ta wakhan choi ba de na ti cha do to ba de khormo matam da nang eta pi eta mathong khang da na iru gulu de khormo ba hadi adu tong no honar pa sida ke do ge ha matam sida boy gi hana leramba lifestyle do completely change of one so this is the transformation ai do han dei di nei khai lai ni ma hai ge je ai ge suraj ka to za me am to ga ka hana di live ki angle ge ga yaw de di lai le mi na hadi lai ji ling chele le mi na si da khona responsible oi do ya je hai ta ka ana tam tam na nga sa gi boy gi matam da tor mo me am tha do ga sa gi si phe sa lai ka so fatherhood ki nam comment to do khang de so new experience I'm enjoying it okay no pressure at all so na ngasi ju ai dum prepare to lo ga je nga di prepare to ko ni revise to ai la ge to ga lai phom do wat li yin to ga yu lu tho ga thing ne ba ka yu lu tho ya da thing ne ba ka so na ma heng de di 5 p.m. da la ni let me adjust to this one okay so na asi ko to de ba content di class si kai no ha ma tam sida governance si oi de ne ba ka governance ki ma gi importance si kai no ha ma tam sida essay da direct oina governance question lakani ka so ai ngang di check to wi essay da huji phoda UPSC governance question direct oi ba tamam le ka aduga next akoina whatever essay we are going to write maybe it be education adagi di akoina science and tech oiro adagi di ngasagi akoina corruption oiro sustainable development goal oiro women oiro or health oiro ko governance will be a part of the dimension I mean important of a part kay no ha matam sida it is from the governance governing over the from the Canada nangi resource ke kam am the administration personnel ke ka govern tor ko nang ini po tu ne ba ana everything that related over pot am ne ba si governance ko ana ese gi da direct governance question la pe natraga indirect over asa gi ese gi topa ese gi topics me am da natraga kano me am da governance na hap to ya ro da ne as a dimension okay aduga next da koina GS2 gi governance gi hai ta GS2 specific oina aduga GS4 mesage ko na ethical governance good governance corporate governance ka yauri report ka even aduga GS1 GS3 da bong governance jong ne for example social issues me am ginan kamai na solve tong ni governance atoba me am le ngani governance may be a dimension okay GS3 da science and tech kamai pusalakani environment kamai change tong ni environmental governance science and tech pusalakna ba policy reforms and governance kyan da na ka governance hai akoi gi UPSC gi keno da or MPSC MAINS ta yaudraba yadraba posak amane ba ka ana si matang sida koina munna hangelu ta ga di people are like very clueless about it okay they will write Singapore model they will write minimum governance maximum minimum government maximum governance adu de hen I bhai te ba so dana akoi da magi kitang detail oi ba magi conceptual oi ba clarity and understanding of change ba and important over reports and important over substantiation qualitative as well as quantitative substantiation na change ba adu to so adu na ngasi akoi na practice tawni ka so cdi na toro po tuni ai na noi do muk to holi je ka si je akoi na governance ngasi chorak na pa gra matung da akoi na direct essay question indirect essay question direct GS question indirect GS question ka GS2 3 GS2 and 4 specifically and GS1 and 3 for kanoda indirect approach to ka iba ngamra do yeng ne ko adu ngam kan di akhoi si tor kan aduga let changa ko map dan haije content class se when a class into one content class when answer writing you da mating pang to one ka so this is new to us okay I di hana experience le jata ga su aina batch mo ya to this is new for us okay so do that so now when how the MPSC like probably that is why it never come into our mind at the UPSC ki tha da wangang me they were focusing on essay test over there when see ideas khalo they were more focusing on mock test series okay so this is new for us so now we will develop in quality as well as scope okay and depth okay so now bear with us ngang na orientation ni mong to okay asi na sa na governance ki topic sida akhoi kanoda answer writing da essay and answer writing da content ka minus same do have do adu ne ko ni yeng se ka ya ka si na general lore ka so na governance akhoi hangma matam sida we do not even know sa ye akhoi governance ki definition na tra acceptable loiba conceptual clarity and understanding is kind of hang down there. Yan da. So governance is kind of hang down there because kanjalu dawa pasalu dawa. But important way they hang back kanjalu dawa pasalu dawa even there. So na paga dawa umta na tesida. Nang on the hapchal lathamo so that me the governance ki mata nang po matamda. It is different from government also. Government has na kind of masagi me punjal laga adu wada position toro to buni and moi na toro ko posina governance do de ne so governance is like different from government okay so adu mayam detail video ko na public administration to wonte ko je pol science to wonte ahoi di GS general studies ko hadi educated ba mi man khanga da conceptual clarity understanding do adu khanga ba to woni ko aduna yamna manu ju changoi se ko so na governance si matang sida kamai to ge ha matam sida koina conceptual definition natraga understanding gan han hong ni ko so no wari kitang lay governance ki matang ko wari kitang lay governance ki matang adu horen case studies aduga magi dimensions mem yaw khane ko adu den waya khane ko so na governance koina swine to France ki 14th century da lak ni hai ko aina chigela ko so resource kano de my source yam important ever source ni something like igno li ko so I had to read all the igno ki governance and magi chapter am lay ne ko adu dei pa la si sumba so no kem khang nu ka ai isalunu pharunu kem ta si pekha de kem kana ro ko so governance have je koina 14th century France ta yamna common noina sina gi ba France to gi lakpa concept ni hai tare ko adu kai digi magi kano si magi governance ki meaning ji kai lakun ha matam sida Greek word tagi lakuni ka sidi chin bi ai ka Greek word tagi lakuni governance na ka so governance dagi governance oi ne ka governance yam nungai ja ni da khangjil do ga ma khangjil lo ga governance ka Greek keyword governance so aina research to ko da igno governance ki like thing of the to ni ka adu dai nan ka su to right but important over pot ka so governance hai je kai na ha matam sida to steer or to pilot hai ba so ji tha khala ani concept ka to steer or to pilot ka governance is the to steer or to pilot or be at the helm of things or be at the helm of things jadi dia benda akan lah ni kau siloi so sum nuai try ni kau ada dia kau na misalnya kau na kau public administration nom da pol science nom da seasonal pun lupa aja na karena kau gaya macam kita kau na sum yang sih kau sini yang jadi kem tu kantor kau par no kau sini sum nuai kau topik kamu tahu bagi magi topik tu sum haram boleh dah nak so kau na public administration pol science nom da yang pasal na governance sebab tam sini lagi lupa aja 1972 dah kau sih sum isal luka Harlan Cliffland na naman sila nakika. Sino teko dan tanging badi sidi some information some nungay na wa class ho gi ka when rhythm setting hay tayo ka. So 1972 da mana first oina terms governance ha terms sin nagi ka. Aduga masaya ko na modi na ga hay ba maximum governance minimum kano maximum kaba minimum government maximum governance ka hay je. Mana hay mo ba ta na. And this guy used to say in 1972 da kay hay mi hay matam sida minimum government, maximum government. Yeah, man, high boy America. I was surprised also. Okay, so adu lore ka. So individual level da mana nasai public platform je pukhale. Sidai di important ore. Kai important ore ka ha matam sida. World institution me am sida. Governance e kwai dagi phayana na sinner pa. Kano je institution kana ore ha matam sida koina. World Bank ko ye ko. Sidai di ko important ore. Kai no da governance definition ja. World Bank and governance ki definition like OECD, UNESCO, UNESCO OECD ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅꯁꯨ governance ꯒꯤ definition ꯄꯤ and the World Bank ꯁꯤꯅ governance ꯒꯤ definition ꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯅꯪ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯏꯕ ꯍꯧꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯦ concept ꯁꯦ ꯈꯪꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯦ World Bank ꯁꯤꯅ 이한 하나 governance concept ꯁꯦ popularize ꯑꯣꯏꯍꯟꯕꯅꯤ as an institution 다 and 마나 그도게 할 마탐스다 governance have a terms governance have a terms like three aspect 마나 붙어요 and 누가 second should be aspect 세 시는 그냥 governance definition 에 잖아요 atop paadu hai sisi ko sis ana sai san be ko so na iba matam jida ai ni iba charge sai yu akoi revise tor ga akoi kop le ho na bani khangom na understand ho na bani ka so na mana three concepts of government World Bank governance mata na wari san matam da they usually talk about three concepts where second concept is the most important one which gives the definition okay so first concept is the kind of form of political form of political regime may it be democracy, may it be socialist, may it be communist, or may it be dictatorial or military. Hadi port man to govern tongnaba hadi political regime so which is not important. But second one is it contains the definition of governance. Sinang low way. Sidi important right? So now second one is the definition lay the processes by which so sidi governance की definition तो का so ना नोइने governance की मतंग दा direct question ला आवा ना ट्रगा direct कैनो दा essay ला आवा का you have to write a definition so फादो दिना ते खंगा के इगदा बका the processes by which authority is exercised the processes by which authority is exercised in the management of the process by which authority is exercised in the management of a country's economic and social resources. The process by which authority is exercised in the management of a country's economic and social resources. So na modi hoina na tra mi ma na politician na ko governance na tra administration na governance to we ha matam sida kaido ge ha matam sida laiba state manipur governance kaino laiba state ki social and economic resource manage to ba aduga to a kaino da definite goal in the future adu ne governance na hai so na si khang de yawa ba si khang matam sida everything will seem no da governance ki manga ji khang nga thok pa ho ne ba like clear oi ne ba okay ahoina to do si kaino governance na lay is kaino mayam gi port ni mayam gi resources ni lay is people gi resources ni mo yem tan natte to what end ha matam se manage moina manage to biraga ahogi kano da social and economic goals ma'am achieve to no to bani so adu gi de mokte di ka dawni accountability lay gadam transparency lay gadam ni red tape lay ba ro adu lay ba ada lay ba ro si no thola kana concept si dai gyan ta wa chene kana chamba ta ha gyan ta ba cheese ne ka adu ga third chuba my pot si da pe pi ha matam si da sim ka tang isan view ka sidai di akoy yam dynamic oi rani ka sidai di akoy na dynamic oi rani ka capacity of governments ka capacity of so si to no bai dong ta ke dong ni government ki capacity sa ka ne ba adu ne le executive institutions adagi legislative adi judiciary le me am khamba government sigi management of a country's economic and social resource kamaina manage tongni khana motam da kamai tongni kanana executive oni kanana judiciary oni kanana legislative tongni have da adugi third ki magi governance criteria is World Bank capacity of governments to design capacity of governments ka sidai di kano to ni ka sidang ne aina kano to no pining ko atai di su peer ka atai di when dimension la ani ka capacity of governments to design formulate implement policies, capacities of government to design, formulate, implement policies, and in general, discharge government's function, So the World Bank man yana understand boy, man yana na conceptual P ko. Si conception na manung integrate to matam da. The governance ki essay na traga answer writing ni ko matam da. This will be your guide. Okay? Sama na ni you have not but this will be your guide. Adu no na yening targeti, further yening targeti. United Nations Development Program ki governance ki definition lai ni am tien mani am phaju phaju ni ko. OECD gi leibani ka UNESCO gi leibani ka sino ya dum refer tawjabe ai ka ya dum nasana dum refer tawjabe ai ka sis next ta akhoni ga do sine bu ka so na UNDP na governance ki keno je kai pi ha matam sida definition je ko ai dum hairam ge ka idi euro no sida kan governance is the exercise of economic, political, and administrative authority to manage a country's affairs at all levels. Kind of PA. So now, when Modi says governance, minimum, kind of maximum governance, kaya hay na matam sila. Masagi ko na, maging masagi economic, political, and administrative authority do. Masagi countries ki affairs at all level da. Manage tong na hay ba yan tayo ko so na si matang ito ko na kay lakini hay matam sila adu ne wala to so na governance ki definition and concept khang da ba right khang da na governance kay no khang da na kay analyze to do governance kay no khang dre ba definition pha ba na ta ba kay no khang dre hujiti khang okay state amagi na country amagi economic and social resources so manage to within to a particular end to a particular goal that is governance si khang da ga di nang na anything I matam da kanam da no on the lal hai ba governance ki concept si pa na bo sheng da ba na governance kai analysis to kari ase do no ba so na ngasai gi koina content se kham ita tha da important oi bane so pha ga no khang ga oi to ba ka adu so na yang si da gi koina ka hana hangi ba paper adu hang pa paper adu hang governance ka social development ke ba SDG ga sustainable development goal ga kamai link to ner ke to adu ki mai importance ye ngo ka kyam chen important oi ge ka so na next da koina yeng du ji kai na ha matam sida Today, the period because today they are conceptual clarity and understanding the challenge. Today they are to basic and hammer thumbs down. Governance ki mata na koi ke variation hai. Governance ki mata na koi ke variation. So digital governance kusi ki oina dika digital governance. Sama nahi digital resources ma'am koi na towards a particular end sin na ba to do. So na abuse to ba na traga koi na aran ba to ba do ma'am thing ga sagi mi khudi makta digital literacy and empowerment na traga digital governance digital lagi phang ba kana ma'am je mi khudi mukta yo han that is digital governance okay adi na koi na si na koi ano bani because of the boom in the digital service or digital gi my capability do oi ka next na koi na ke like e-governance yung yang sebo ka misal ne e-governance ka magi dimensions khar ka so na nang governance si mata ni e matam da concept magi dimension ako ni de ya ka e-governance ka the participatory governance ka so it can be an essay dimension okay it can be an answer writing dimension but nonetheless governance haina pata agadi magi mai le na ba ma'am da si dum yaro ka ne ba participatory governance, ethical governance, good governance, decentralization governance, decentralized governance. Next, global governance, sustainable development goals, environmental goals, war goals, global governance. Sustainable development goal, sustainable development goal. But other than global governance, you will get more marks than the other guys. Okay. So na sigi government ki dimensions ya si lay ba ko ka so do ana ako na governance sum yeng matam da every current affairs everything ako na administration to ba na taga supreme court yoro government scheme programs yoro ka it is directed towards a particular end of the governance is particular end of the target to ne ka say for example yeng ako na ka digital india was scheme ja kay the target to digital governance so digital governance. So digital ni phang ba koina labor resources ma'am kamai na sinar ga na koina economy and social kamai chawhara ngani ha ba sigi da target taw semba po ne sum yeng je example da ka aduga for example yengo like nasagi koina inclusion kano da inclusive over governance ka say like one card one nation one card ka hai ka adai de koina participatory governance ka hai ga di decentralization ka like National Amendment 73rd, 74th. So now everything will the accountability governance, RTI. so na everything da khoina kano tor kaneba and adu ge sida ngasai ge khoina trust based governance ka trust based governance ka so trust based governance ta scheme mama hairo handak ta tokiba jan viswas act natraga bill trust it is based on trust because they have decriminalized so much. They have decriminalized so much. Decriminalization of IPC and CRPC. Aduju ngasai koina lermiba ngasai koina colonial gi hangover lokho kanda decriminalization ayam tora kanda ngasai koina kai sagali trust based government. So koina yengu matamda every policy, every decision and every Supreme Court judgment kai yengu matamda kai la ke ha matam sida governance is point to sinang khangmang ngamgadam in order for you to write direct and indirect essays or answer writing based on governance. Ganda ko so na le ado governance ki akoina constitution di ke yaw so constitution da so akoina governance ki damak toriba who gives you the authority to deal with economic and social resources for the people nang na paya ga tawno bai damak tadi kana dagi por lakni lai di har moine ko so it is based on constitution so constitution ni ke yaw ge ha matam di yaw sa ka tumi ngo ko ayu si ma'am sin noi luar kan da ko friend being si answer writing han hangiba aduga hangakpa yaba question da akoina mayam idoine ko indirect when governance ki dimension am hapa yabra adu governance ki dimension hapa matam sida kari hapani hade yeng se ko it will be good okay so si ne content di class ko na content class say I ko di am phajana le ko I'm trying to bring it out in such a way that it will be useful to you guys okay so this is the first content class we have ever done hai tai so taina like ta kuni like ta ko khenai ko I am not teaching you governance here okay I'm teaching just an aspect which are going to be in the essay and the GS kind of the GS course. So non answer writing is that governance is directly or indirect directly deal to indirect governance dimension in essay and answer writing and even in your interview okay so do I heard Singapore model sidina answer inaba essay bagi quantitative and qualitative substantiation dana hai ni ko especially Singapore model natraga India gi magi report ga dana hai ni ko so similar ko ana akhona sum khanna matam sida every ngasai akhona laiba policies programs schemes adagi di kedowe hai matam sida ngasai gi akhona Supreme Court judgment kai ga je kai dila ke hai matam sida governance la ke ne ko so Supreme Court na pot am kathalle the executive nang adu governance kanoda social and economic resources man do lan sinare natraga unfair in sinare adu nai ka according to the constitution so na governance to holi baje kana kano pi gi hama tam khoina constitution to dikha hapet mai le ne ko constitution especially directive principles of state policy ka like Panchayati Raj Semu article 38 ka article 39A ka adedi article 40 adu institutions le executive regulatory bodies constitutional and non-constitutional and decentralization like nasagi phana Panchayati Raj Institute as well as nasagi phana urban local bodies ma'am ja kai gi leino hai matam sta governance to no lei ne and moina governance to is kai no hai matam ja their power have been devolved by the constitution which is powered by the people of India gyan da ne ko so si concept la to ne ko so na governance ki matang da khoina any governance topic hang pa matam da any government ki topic hang pa matam ka governance topic hang pa matam da akoina dimension ke ini haibje sana yaujel le am ne ko so na United Nation gi United Nation gi ka economic kanom hai mali UNESCAP ka UNESCAP ka United Nation Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific si invitation view ba and even second year si develop ka sige project ka so na governance ki dimension ke oido no hai targeti si phagano sigi ma'am nang yaw de matam da nang governance complete oye ba so na answer writing ibada na track no iba matam ka so United Nation Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific aduga second year sina good governance si kay NP ha matam sila yam line na mana ni point ni pan thong na pi ba so number 1 point ta kay no ha matam sila consensus oriented ka si answer da kamai ni anna dadi nana MCS natraga IS oge khan tarba you need to think okay wakhan khan da bathau to ge hai targa di SSC banking try SSC banking okay ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯟ ꯈꯟꯗꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯁꯣꯔꯠꯀꯠ ꯑꯣꯏꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯌꯦꯡꯖꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯋꯥꯈꯟ ꯈꯟꯗꯦ they usually focus on shortcut okay so it is people's choice ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯥꯝꯖꯔꯒ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯆꯪꯖꯕꯅꯤꯀꯣ it's about ꯃꯣꯏ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯣ ꯄꯥꯝꯖꯔꯝꯒꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯣꯐꯤꯁꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯋꯥꯈꯟ ꯈꯟ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯋꯥꯈꯟ ꯈꯟꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯁꯤꯁꯦ ꯗꯥ ꯑꯩ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯍꯪꯉꯛꯇꯕꯤꯗ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯀꯟꯁꯦꯟꯁꯁ ꯑꯣꯔꯤꯌꯦꯟꯇꯦꯠꯁꯦ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯏꯔꯝꯗꯣꯏꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯌꯦꯡꯁꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯁꯦ ꯀꯦꯁ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯗꯤꯁꯇ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁꯇ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯖꯤ ꯑꯦꯁ 2ꯒꯤ ꯑꯟꯁꯔꯗ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯦꯁꯦꯗ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯣꯕꯀꯣ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯣꯔꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯁꯦꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁꯇ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ ꯅꯪ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯗꯤ ꯁꯤꯅꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯗ ꯆꯠꯇꯣꯔꯦ ꯃꯐꯝꯗꯨ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯅꯤ ꯕꯠ ꯄꯥꯔꯇꯤꯀꯨꯂꯔ ꯀꯝꯃ꯭ꯌꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯂꯩꯁꯤꯟ ꯈꯣꯠꯆꯟꯗꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯃꯐꯝꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯏꯚꯤꯛ ꯇꯧꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯁꯣ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯁꯦꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯣ ꯀꯩꯀꯩ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨ ꯌꯦꯡꯁꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯌꯥ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯛ ꯍꯣꯜꯗꯔꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯅꯥ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀꯟꯁꯦꯟꯁꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯕꯤꯜ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯅꯪ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯥꯃꯤꯅꯔꯗꯨꯅ ꯀꯩ ꯅꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯇꯥꯛꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯗꯤꯁ ꯒꯥꯏꯁ ꯅꯣ ꯁꯝꯊꯤꯡ ꯑꯕꯥꯎꯠ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ ꯏꯝꯄꯣꯔꯇꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯏꯊꯣꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥ ꯐꯝꯐꯝ ꯊꯣꯛꯑꯦꯅ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯔꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯣ ꯁꯥꯇ꯭ꯔ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯃꯨꯛꯀꯣ ꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ 12ꯗ ꯇꯥꯛꯑꯣꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯤ ꯐꯥꯔ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕ they will not know how and where to apply this okay ꯑꯗꯨꯒ MCS ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯕ IAS ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯕ you should be able to apply ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯗ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯅꯣꯂꯦꯖ ꯑꯃ ꯀꯗꯥꯏꯗꯅꯣꯃ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯑꯦꯄ꯭ꯂꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯉꯝꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯁꯤꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣꯝꯅ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯟ ꯕꯦꯁꯇꯗꯪ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯟꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯐꯥꯕꯣꯏ ꯂꯥꯛꯄꯣꯏ ꯐꯦꯛ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯀꯩ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯟ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯀꯗꯥꯏꯗ ꯑꯦꯄ꯭ꯂꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯨꯅꯦꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯁꯦ ꯁꯣꯝꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯣ ꯑꯩꯅꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯝꯇ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ UNꯒꯤ ESCAPꯅ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯒꯨꯗ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ 8 ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔꯁꯇ ꯒꯨꯗ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗ 8 ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔꯁ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯤꯀꯣ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔ 8 ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔꯁ ꯅꯝꯕꯔ 1ꯗꯤ consensus oriented how I apply to a ethics case studies ꯑꯩꯅ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ apply ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯣꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ ꯁꯤ ꯈꯪꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯁꯤ ꯑꯉꯥꯡꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ ꯀꯟꯁꯦꯞ ꯈꯪꯉꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯅꯪ ꯃꯥꯔꯛ ꯄꯤꯔꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥ and that is how we got mark ꯁꯤ ꯀꯣꯏꯁꯟꯁꯤ ꯗꯥꯏꯔꯦꯛꯇꯤ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯣꯏꯕꯀꯣ UNESCPꯅ ꯒꯣꯚꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ 8 ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔꯗꯣ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯒꯗꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ 8 ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯀꯦꯇꯔꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯟꯁꯔ ꯔꯥꯏꯇꯤꯡꯗ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯞꯄ ꯌꯥꯒꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯦꯁꯦꯒꯤ ꯗꯥꯏꯃꯦꯟꯁꯟ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯦꯝꯕ ꯌꯥꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯨꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯒꯗꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯁꯤ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯍꯩꯒꯗꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯕꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯇꯥꯛꯄ ꯉꯝꯗꯦ I can just show you this and that okay it should be mostly from your own style and your own thinking and nang thinking do lemda targadi you guys need to level up haiba dan haije ko sis ana number 1 da consensus oriented ko number 2 da accountable oigadawa good governance ko number 3 da transparent number 4 da responsive number 3 da transparent number 4 da responsive number 5 da equitable and inclusive ka nang governance ki SMC ma'am yaw yune atai kemi da si nipan nang sado iramo ko government na kay tawri kay scheme lady kay fake lady kari case status tay iramo ko your essay will be a good one okay at least it will get 120 ka so responsive ka number 5 ta equitable and inclusive ka equitable and inclusive ay ngasi di Singapore model lo kaino han take Singapore model je kana study to ga matam sida UK ki parliamentary committee in study to they admit that the UK is quite different from Singapore but they also admit that they can learn a lot about from the governance of Singapore to the UK governance ka ay take ka adu nang case study sun hapo mo yan ta Manipur Singapore yan pame yan ta Singapore model ka na ha ka adi election kana da political party nya na leader nya na ka Singapore model ka ha ri lore thabo kem to tawdaba wakhan do in Singapore model je pukan na khanba adi yaro and we know what is Singapore model id swine to id ethics ka ethics type ko id was ane ko ana ethics si good content ka id phangge ha matam da especially for the last two portion ka public servant civil servant yor ka id phangge ha matam da kai id phangge khamba Singapore gi mogi public servant haidi Singapore gi IS ki equivalent ka mogi training tobom gi institute na ka agudingi magazine among phonge ko about values and public service and civil servant ethics adum nai na ne ko adai pae bai kyan ta ne ko sometimes moi hanagi edition ne ani full phange ko ano edition ne ani moi ne khangalaga article phange ai full panning ba and it is only accessible to the Singapore civil servant kitang accessible loy quality khulai je loy ko ai de ta e ko na sa ye sum sada dum ethics confidence le jabdo oy ko sis ana number 5 is kaino equitable and inclusive ka number 6 kida effective and efficient ka essay the next dimension mainly you good governance and your essay will be like complete, okay, and it will be a better one, okay. Adagidi next follow the rule of law. Follow the rule of law. Rule of law. Follow the rule of law. Next follow the rule of law. Next participatory. Participatory. Next is lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, lower. So yes, right. So now they gave 8 indicators of good governance, and it was adopted. Wow, trust. They don't care. May direct like that. Ako ko may mutre may talaki. Aduga, ahoy challenge kaino. This is the first one, okay. Ahoy next challenge kaino ha matam sida. Our next challenge is how to write this concept into questions already been asked, essay as well as GS. And another question which may be asked, kamaina ko na direct or indirect or kamaina palaga answer ibiyagi have ka. So dun ne ko na tawisi ka. So na this is not about teaching class, okay. So I don't need to teach governance to you, okay, at this time of the preparation phase, okay. All I need to just say is that governance is 3 dimension lay, and see ko ja answer writing the half naba ngamno ko na si have ka. Long. So this is about the good governance. Good governance ka. Huh? I'll throw. So next, good governance. So sige kano sila ko. Sige ni pan sila ko. Next, report ani kan concept. And sige report man na kay haning nga matam sida. It can be a content to your essay, or it can give. Yeah. So next report ahum khak tong ne ba ka. So report ahum je kay na matam sida World Bank good governance ki report ma yaw ni, India gi good governance indicator na ma yaw ni ka. Adi de case studies ani khak tong ni Manipuri yam yaw ni ka. Yengo. Si answer na hapon mo ka. Duga answer na ma phang da yengo ka. So khoi na to je kay no, we are doing a very modest thing, okay. So mayam ju inarakani, we have to agree that nang na hele habdi da ka share ka. Mayam ju inarakani, but mayam ni inarakadu da khoi ju igani. Mayam na ido khoi ju igani, but mayam na inataba khoi na khai iraga. Mayam dai question amada question amma mark amma natraga mark amma makai yamabda mark ani kamai na heni je khoi na khanmam thoeba. So na question kun da di mark nipu gan da na ka, or give or take mark kun manga to kuntra kamai heni is. And this is very important. Mark kun ma to mark kuntra heni hai ta ga di, we need to do things mayam na tongnei to tongni lai pa ni revise tongni aduga khoi na content ju thini aduga mayam tongna to answer writing ki wakhan khan ba tongana lai pa wi mo to wakhan khan ba kari hap to no khot to no content hunting to ba content mayam to hunting to loi kan da kamai na pusulak no khona ba si mayam jo khoi na khan ba da ga wa yo gan da ya na ko si no khona lan chang bi strategy hai ta ka. So mayam pa nei ai pa na de ha ko, because our library is full of students who are going to write MPSC mains, okay. They are reading every day, okay. No ju parang ngani ka, but ako na mo mayam na panay nang ju pai mayam ina ko inani. So mayam na 4 phang nang ju 4 phang mo do, it is not hadi what is the difference kamay na khan ni click in khan ni adu shu yam na comfortable level la khalo na ba, that will decide your MCS MPS no ngi cut off ke ka no ba decide to ko do ne ba adu. So na ako atheng ne opa Susmita do ako na sai to je kai no governance si ako na expect am to do ni, and everything GS2 ga 4 ga SCA ga horaga, and even GS1 ga 3 ga da governance ki aspect no changa da bani, or governance ki dimension am hap ya do ni direct hang kara indirect hang kara ka. So si matang da ko to man. So na governance ki concept ma have it choran explain to re, especially World Bank ki governance to adai de ko na kai do re good governance ki concept la adu ju yam simple ba indicators ko na dum khanga da governance hai ta di. So Manipur governance na kamai chakhoda ningi. Sir, consistency oriented or hindiyo, stakeholders language and hindiyo, accountable or hindiyo, transparent or hindiyo, equitable and inclusive or hindiyo, responsive governance or hindiyo, effective and efficient use of resources or hindiyo. Aduga rule of law follow to hindiyo by whims and fancies na taba. Aduga participatory or hindiyo. Hai matam sida. Your answer is as good as ever hai tayo ko. So sumaina content is sumaina ko na search to kana ko na utilize to kana ko sinagadam ne ko. So aduga next will come to like hoina answer imatamda. So governance concept khange si myam se hoina irani ko one way or the another na pharo ga nipan manung da manga kai igera ko, it will be a good dimension, okay. So na lo yani hoina claim to ni this and that and da na nga haibo essay da dia koina claim to khudi ma koina substantiate to gadam ni ka. We have to give reason why we claim these things. We can substantiate into two ways, okay? Qualitative substantiation, like case studies example, and quantitative substantiation, like data, facts, figures, coherency. Ana, adu matang da dana, yam important ba, ano ba latest ko, hadi sai hap ka ba substantiation sin na ba ba, sai ye koina report ani and you search. There are so many reports, there are so many quotes, there are so many facts and figures, there are so many case studies regarding governance. Okay, you search and keep it in your mind. Okay, integrate in your preparation, integrate in your nangi understanding the integrator, and you can be able to say it anywhere, any place. Okay, so I na thamo ko. Adi tayo na answer writing ibida flawless oy ne ko. So do. So na number 1 da khoi ne kay tam ni ha matam sida World Banking. World Banking. Worldwide Governance Indicator WGI nam taw ne ko. World Banking, worldwide habsan mo ne governance ka. So according to the akoina irani claim tawni ka, so India the governance improve togadam ni kay na matam sa governance sida masagi participatory na traga effective and efficient o hangadam ni khoto ni nang claim tawre ka na hapa ne ba. So na sito we hata di ka don ha matam sa akoina India gi worldwide governance indicator da India gi range sini, and we can improve mo 6 dimension, or we can improve in this dimension so that akoi governance can maximum governance oina ba. And you're going to get marks because me and higher governance perlu na higher duga governance perlu kamaina higher comes the world banking adugi indicator the rank adu tai adugi dimension me am input to the governance pagalakani high moina admain to holu so na kai scheme lai si to wa adu lai kai scheme sembe ai si to wa sembe ai iramo ba you are going to get 2 plus mark more than the other guy. Okay, so this is all what is about mains. Okay, nang mi to padagi mark yam hen mark ama na tra kyam na hen mangam gi haido ko it decides everything. Okay, aduga superficial na torisi organic na to siyo ko. Hello nilo oh da class le yu ko da horin natan network ye yani na hoi da talk da. So season ko ana World Bank ki worldwide governance indicator ko iyo makada kana na semo no ha matam 30 think tanks ko yengo 30 think tanks adu international organizations, NGOs and private firms na semo ne kana pot ne ko 30 think tanks. Okay, 30 think tanks, international organizations, NGOs and masagi ko na private firms na semo ne ko, and it is based on 6 dimensions ko. And 6 dimensions nang report to na tewa nang lokho ga nang governance di essay hapo ko dimension mo in hapo ko by giving examples, by giving schemes, programs, etc. See what ko khot pa hapo ko and see your answer. Okay, so mayam mo kok te tho ko kudo ina kani nang na World Bank na sembi reba research torba dimension hapa ko do ne ko the quality of answer will be different. Okay, adu next challenge di kay no hamatam sida ako na kamay na answer the integrator kani kamay na organically nang na integrate to no por kani have the adu ne ko and adu to no by damuti I have one suggestion. You start thinking, okay? Thinking. Yung talaga, kaluzawa. India, the voice and accountability is one. So, first dimension ni biro, 6 dimension judo ka. First dimension ni biro. Number 1, the voice and accountability ka. Voice and accountability. Voice and accountability. Second dimension, the political stability ka. Second dimension, the political stability. ID sana ano sa prepare to jab dadi kan nuai hai tare ka ID quality preparation to jab ko pa kame naksal akan ka so na tominasi chukai de let me share what I can. Okay, so that we will get a better marks than others. Okay, so my to just no they let them do in their own way and everything. Okay, political stability and absence of violence or terrorism ka political stability and 6 dimensions of governance be mana. And they 66 dimensions that they assess like 200 economies over the period of 1996 to 2003 book the way. So the key dimensions to have the voice and accountability, political stability and absence of violence and terrorism. So now in the other political stability later, violence or terrorism later, governance will be obviously bad, not desirable. Number 3, the government effectiveness, corruption gumba, red tape gumba, kaya handage, kaya yauge, have so na sinangi dimensions ka to din essay ako matam the governance ka government effectiveness ka Next, the regulatory quality. So regulatory bodies boy or judiciary boy or kamaina executive natraga governance tawriba nasagi executive mayam sida kamaina regulatory oversight lay hai tare ko. So na like Singapore gumbai go kano Singapore gi governance yam phajai ke na matam sida they have a very sturdy and a very solid regulatory system. Okay, Singapore is ko. So they will even jail the minister. I minister masani hai ya minister masamu jail thajun doi tare ngai da I minister masani hai tare di pai tari ne yan ta ne ko. So si map je koina hang wai India governance kamai phagat hani natraga India gi governance ta direct question natraga direct essay natraga indirect dimension ma hapning matam da si map ha pa ya ko. Ado number kya la 5 la rule of law. Rule of law. Next, control of corruption. So nang nam tingin biyo da si no yengaba pura pani ko. So World Bank ki latest WGI report ta India rank kya ta yam tingin biyo. Why am I just first step, second step ta wakan khanba, third step ta sagi na organically wakan khalur kanda organically na infused to idea ma'am se. Fourth step ta answer writing, essay writing, and interview to puthorok. This is the plan, okay? So the first step say yaw the target the other step ma'am dungam moy dawa. Ko so do. Ana this is not class, okay? Class is fine tak take class the not P na thought na answer writing E na ko na ba adu prelims question P na mains question P na tawi si di ko na governance si matang da kamay na ko na knowledge and concept organically lehogani adu answer writing da kamay hapakani ha do to ne ko so adu awa aduga so this involves knowing these things. The first step ko no box na te yam comprehensive way na te khada da ne ka aduga next ta ko na wakan khan is important ne ko silo kan wadi sanagi je ko adi india gi kari governance ki system da kari show ye khoti aduga hangiba question essay as well as GS question da UPSC da and aduga hang pa question nam da kamaina khoina ngasagi concept to kamaina hap to no have do answer either bida wakan khan ma matam da you will be developing a lot hai ta ka so kya ta me chingna ba yengu ne internet mobile do pai da internet sin na namni nang ba natte World Bank WGI World Bank WGI I di na bu khanjilu de hadi si concept si ma'am si de dum pai bu ko thaina ko adu ko na bu khanjilu de sustainable development goals e di kyam ta oram de ma di ko hadi paper da gi khoina reality on thoki hai ta ga di governance da oi le me ka governance da we have to deliver in governance ka na governance and sustainability development goals na amaina bu essay hang ba ya bu ko khoina ka aduga sustainability development goals ta specific on governance ki kon hadi goal ani yawe ko especially article sustainable development goal 16 sustainable development goal 17 ko so duna nan governance ki essay re pada answer ire pada global governance yaga sustainable development goal ki goal number 16 ke 17 ke rama ba I'm pretty sure that atopa kana anta ire mo ko answer ko noi na ta ko kya tayren trust kayo phangdraba me yadre hey hello prem tabra prem tabro ay tadre so I think enough talk si naisi mayam naisi pullap na minasi aduga ya mathang week tay di only weekend classes ni ko hadi aiju research tawge aduga noiju nasang sai topic khalaga kamaina content hunting tawni especially GS2 GS3 and GS4 GS4 ito minasi ko GS1 di content si kya yaw only the social aspect ko atay di current affairs based natin geography history di na napado matani redundant natani aduga hoy current affairs ko jaw ko so especially essay GS2 GS3 and GS4 ito minasi ko content man ko now they happy. Hello, Prem. Oh. Ah. Ehe, okay, okay, okay. Dahil sila ura rin. Yeah, yeah, la sam tham na. Rasta ini keno to noi das ante jisu lai bine nang yam detail no wari san ni di noi das ante jitu dum wari san no bu ko. Das ante jit na dai mana ba ma ras lai bine bu ko. Santajit. I phone number pera ke hai bi ki hadi kyam detail oina hai tare ko adu da na everything adum yae bu ko nang detail oina doctor ka mana si tan ning hai tare ko tan ning di noi das ante jit to ma lai ne bu ko. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Kemarin show ini nih. Hoi aja di down class tuh agak hoi yang kantor. Sama. Rank kya or max stress. Hangdra ba? Oh, percentile tuh rank itu. As याद रहे hey. 63 percentile kaya kita ko kaya maningi institute ni pag kaya wang percentile di Norway mo le ma Norway 90 or 99 100 percentile. So ano no governance link man. India aja. That is good. 45.2. 45.2 that is 60 ga 3. That is good improvement. So you can even calculate and so I know ita di kain to ni kambra. India has improved its governance, but much things to be done. I know adu hot kanya ko 45 to 63 how much percentile increase ka. 45 to 90 bo 100 percentile ni 63 target di ta khai di kana 50 do target di. So more than 50% increase ne ko. That's a good score. Yeah, that's a good score. So, series and you learn some dimensions about governance which the world assess about the governance season. So, I took a manarangani but manada because you're so do nang happy. So next I'm happening bama governance imatanda lakamatam de ka. I'm happening bama India gi on jaba governance happening ka. So India ida kay lay hamatam sida good governance index and am lay ka. Good governance index. Institution so generally it is done by Department of Administration Redressal Grievance DARPZ Department of Administrative Reform and Personal Grievances DARPZ National Center for Good Governance NGO National Center NGO for Good Governance NGO good governance so si ahum jina changga semba kasagi khone indicator ne ka so DARGS or DARPG so similar National Center for Good Governance I don't quite pamjaba no ethics question semi ba UPSC ethics question semi ba kana Hyderabad tam lai ka Center for Good Governance ne ka Center for Good Governance Hyderabad ka. And this is where your ethics paper comes from, okay? So I know tiny ethics power, you have different the spreads and the power that my website is and you will find you will find some good materials about ethics also, okay? So she is a Center for Good Governance as and she's in an ethics paper UPSC. So they like delegated to these guys, okay? So na so good governance indicator state governance so that the state have an ability to improve so ranking period so high mock test what gets measured improves so mock test assessment measure you will not improve a lot, okay? Fail pass go just write everything and just let there be measurement, okay? And obviously you will get improved. What gets measured gets improved. Probability and philosophical question so now you need to be very much familiar with statistical organization census like national Central Statistical Organization ko NSSO si map nang khang tare ko adu me adu phajana khang mi adu da thok to mi ne ko si si itharo ko yam phajani ra kyong yan tare ne ko what gets measures gets improved ai ja soidro yan tare ne ko so na akhoi outside tagi akhoi evaluator daka oi kai na matam sida moidi yamta bias oi da ye kane criteria da ko and they are going to measure this one no nang si the si layer si the si layer si the si layer I know where to improve okay so now so good governance indicators are mind taroga same money and they have 10 indicators so now good governance ka mind tong ni khot kani na nang essay hange khalo na interview da hange khalo ba nang sigi 10 indicators si matang da khalo khalaga nang organically no da integrate to ga khalo khala high matam da your answer will be to the point where yan da na ka so now you 10 agriculture indicators number 1 the agriculture and allied services agriculture and allied sectors so sigi agriculture and allied sectors the toriba schemes program ma'am ja kaino da good governance ka mai lainer ja matam sida governance adu kaino scheme of things to serve and adu ga sagi resource ka mai sin adu no adu kai sin adu lak ne ba kaino ha matam sida India is mostly rural and most of the Indians are in the agriculture sector so na adu gi du da koina fazna economic and social resource sin gi matam da governance definitely improves okay so number 2 the commerce and industry number 3 the SRD human resource development others pakada si phada di eu no kasu kaide but governance si matang iba matam da masagi good governance index cd nang substantiation da hapiramo attracting the hap no hono ko adu tar yeah 2021 I know what you talked to it should be biannual okay but yeah I don't know okay so I know ita ba ina mudi hoyi kani jipalo sarkar se no ita they like don't do this important stuff sai ta census to haira thingda ne ko adi si nam important am way ba akoina wa da basan da koina chakole haibu budi khamba adu haibu mohta khamba let the data come and let it analyzed by people okay and they will say nangi post chakole je nu khangne mo ya to ya ba si khamba kano forest report thingdei moi ko census thingdei ko si thingdei ko ease of doing business lothokre thingdagre ko poche phibam je pharak ta gyan ta na ko aduga ata hindu muslim da religion da wari wachi to le bine akoina ya je na akoina si hengwai si suppose wari gi wane ka hypothetical gi wari ni ka I don't know if you are going to do that okay akoi di assessment to kana akoi di yam popular wari yam chokole ha du ya ro ko I suppose oza bi mo na CM mo ye khalo koi ha kani oza da oza education gi je na ha na lei si kya no nang lei bi kya no matam kyang kuin chang ni data pe ro ha kana yan ta pu to ya ro yan ta hoi oza bi mo ga du level da khoi di adu level da khoi respect to ye ko not blindly at thakat pa na to ai di ma na CM mo ge ha ta de ha kana oza education ji point to do no poverty ji point to do no kai to do no kai scheme to do no khoi de khang la khoi ese lemen na mo na phanyam hai du khang wa to and this should be answerable fai de di adu hangore di nang kana no lokhat pala kera lokhat pala hanira an to kane ko dore hojikti lokhat paju kam chala mo ji police kam am lo ya ji ana di atan nupi sat pagi nupa sat pagi mai mama sat pagi ata road clearance kam buje ai ma DSP or what is this latest people adum lei ne ba kwa then mari ji da ka hadi government pai ngai da kai ngang lei je ai amar di ai kana amit ka ai no ba lei ne ba kai mo lei je road clearance party ROP ko mo ROP yo kan hai mo tam da ka police ma hai da bi ne ROP to ma tha sa pha je loye ada ma am ji phe ngang na de ba adu loye ni na ka mo chat ji ngai de ya to mo ne sin na traffic ka ji to ne kan chala hek chat kho ba mo ju gong ngai to de ma de ka thing ji lo ba thu ko di mo wa wai thu ko di mi ma mo ni jam thôi gan da ne ka ti no ning ja ne sa ji da so na you view for the public health ka for the public health 5 the public infrastructure and utilities ka public infrastructure and utilities ka so manipur sida dum khangani ka governance kyam phasan to hi to de ge ka economic governance ka zero ni economic governance ti adi pisa ngai ro du khan nei de je hai yuari ni ka yam dam je thoi ba ma je hadi export hadi phasan chokhan ba so to re ba kham da economic governance ka number 7 the social welfare and social welfare and kan why mai social welfare and social welfare and kan why mai development ya social welfare and development ka adai number 8 da judiciary and public safety judiciary and public safety number 9 da environment number 10 so phaba ka sunga moi ka just akhona sidagi idodi asai ge akhona good governance index ka which like assess like governance in state for and measured oiba magi 10 indicators to ka and to improve oiba ka adu do oiden ka citizen centric governance ka citizen centric governance so anna noi essay da aina sida da si ke kana do no koina pekha ha matam sida aina noi thiel lakani ba ka so si matang da dana noi thiening mudi manipur gi rank se latest last good governance index ta kya ta ge ngo manipur gi rank manipur rank kya ta ge adu de ho ya ba so it will be a good essay so manipur rank se good governance index ta sini lai je ka and in order to improve that one we need to improve the indicators ma'am da some of it that can be improved by government ka adu ni and kai to we scheme ma'am hapsalo ba ka and government improve to honori like for example public health sida government na kai do ai matam sida na sai yo cm gi haksim gi tengbal ka sidi dabu de oine khangamani ka adi public health ki de lai ni ka adu se dengue la ko da kapthoi ba khotoi ba and decentralized story ba club ma'am ga tanar ga unar ga tori ba yan ta na ka si ma'am je koina pan matam da phajai ba yan ta na ka na blind pung di ya ro ba ka so na manipur gi good governance index last ta rank kya lai yengo Hilly region and northeast state na kaya doon ha point kung kya lai yung ID indicators do ka point kung kya lai yung so public infrastructure kaya doon ba wala to Damo si kamli ko ito zero ngakane ba ati zero haije kano rangani ye nangido 1 da measure to rangani ye so 0.5 haije na 0.5 na te 1 da measure to that is 50% yeah so kya da measure to ne indicator kadi ne na pha la ka ne bo hala na ha yeah so Manipur belongs to the hilly and the northeast northeast region do ne yeah in the environment the first time adom dia khoi adu iro hada hu de na target pi target de ya environment the first time environment de mi khane ni ka nang popi yan that laga nang u yan that la popi thaya re to ji khane ji ji so na 0.2 aina kan the 1 do rang ne bo ka aduga next time ta i ba December na si na governance ki na mate exclusive na te ko you can refer to arthashastra de horga governance kamai to ni khot ni ha de EBI ko essay gi na paragraph macha historical gi expect am hamning tare de ko adu mu phajai paawda dum nungai hai tare ko anu refreshing oi ba hai tare ko si ni exclusive na te ko ai gi dana governance important oi kai na ha matam da every essay de horga GS1 GS2 GS3 GS4 governance yaw de ba yan ta ai si ngang de ai prepare to ko jida ai kai khanyam sustainable development goal is the governance goal ne governance present to sustainable development goal achieve tore adu bo wai link to we gyan ta adu ki mati important hoye je which the way sustainable development goal je kai khale something to be mayam mang da phajara sana ba hai ba interview da mark phang na ba answer I think in the way that khale we actually do not live any of the sustainable development goal ever hai ta ka chak hundo iba adai di chak manghal liba usop to da chak kya manghal le ai di usop je chaja ren khan ai di usop je ai rule lam le ko ai na allergy to ga yang di cha de ko like sobong mo di cha de ko ai di hapu ba chak to de swa happen de lo re na ai na la thong da de sit na la kai jo ji tana hai hai ai di chang du pa me ba nakan ni mayam na as mong te haidara ko ji hoi ok ku me di ok lo ku me di am kan ai ta ko di lik se ko yang pamu ja hai ta India poverty ma'am lay ko hadi kano chaw phang da poverty de horaga hunger de horaga ko sustainable and other than that hai sustainable development ai jungai nang jungai ko we talk about sustainable development goal so that people may call us educated or something like that but we never live sustainable development goal so that is why artists mun jai jung phatar sum hendel ai yang ta okay mm. ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯁ ꯂꯦꯝꯍꯟꯕ ꯂꯦꯝꯍꯟꯕ ꯑꯣꯀꯦ ꯑꯣꯀꯦ ꯀꯥꯏ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗꯤ ꯍꯨꯟꯗꯣꯛꯏ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯂꯣꯏꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯆꯥꯛꯀꯧꯕꯗ ꯍꯨꯟꯗꯣꯛꯏ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯈꯪꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯜꯆꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯒꯤ ꯏꯆꯦꯜ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯤꯅꯀꯣ ꯁꯤ ꯄꯨꯂꯞ ꯁꯦꯝꯗꯣꯛꯃꯤꯟꯅꯗ꯭ꯔꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏꯕ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯕ꯭ꯂꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯖꯦꯅꯦꯔꯦꯁꯟꯗꯤ ꯈꯔ ꯈꯔ ꯍꯧꯒꯗ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ 70ꯁꯤ ꯖꯦꯅꯦꯔꯦꯁꯟꯗꯤ ꯋꯥꯔꯦ ꯂꯨꯈꯥ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯒꯀꯣ ꯀꯃꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯅꯣꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯍꯤꯟꯗꯨꯏꯖꯝꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯐꯠꯇꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯕꯩꯁꯅꯕꯤꯖꯝ ꯍꯤꯟꯗꯨꯏꯖꯝꯁꯦꯀꯣ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩ ꯈꯪꯉꯦꯕ ꯍꯤꯟꯗꯨꯏꯖꯝꯗ ꯚꯛꯇꯤ ꯀꯜꯆꯔꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯣꯅꯦ ꯍꯤꯟꯗꯨꯏꯖꯝꯗ ꯚꯛꯇꯤ ꯀꯜꯆꯔꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯈꯪꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯇꯩ ꯀꯩꯝ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯇꯥꯗꯦ ꯅꯪ ꯏꯔꯨ ꯂꯨꯕ ꯂꯨꯗꯕ ꯃꯥꯡꯕ ꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯀꯩꯝ ꯗꯔꯀꯥꯔ ꯇꯥꯗꯦ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯚꯣꯁꯟꯗ ꯂꯥꯏꯒ ꯅꯪꯒ ꯂꯩꯅꯕ ꯔꯤꯂꯦꯁꯟꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯣ ꯂꯧꯍꯧꯗꯕꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯌꯛ ꯂꯥꯎꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯑꯁꯦꯡ ꯑꯃꯥꯟ ꯈꯥꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄ ꯃꯤ ꯃꯥꯡꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯡ ꯈꯥꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄꯗꯣ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯆꯣꯍꯧꯔꯤꯅꯣ so now I don't know is human mind or human genetics like bend to these things I don't know something to think about other than that philosophy is the answer haise dana ai khange ai science ki mini engineering ki mini ko ai science am pam engineering pam ko but prithvi kan gi hai ta philosophy arts literature poem music ko si lai kyan ta si lai ko because science ju di ngasai objective le ma ta ne ko makum hang bu ta ne ko value je okay 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 ꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯤ ꯐꯩ ꯇꯥꯕꯧꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯆꯩꯌꯦ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯁꯤꯡ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯦꯝꯑꯣꯅꯦꯕ ꯃꯃꯤꯡꯒꯗꯤ ꯄꯜꯂꯔꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯔꯦꯀꯣꯔꯗꯤꯡ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅꯤꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯅꯣꯡꯃ ꯃꯍꯩꯁꯤꯗ MCS ꯊꯥꯅꯦꯅ ꯀꯣꯆꯤꯡ ꯌꯥꯎꯕ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯪꯕ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯌꯥ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯀꯥꯏꯗꯦ ꯊꯥꯎ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯨ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯀꯥꯏꯗꯦ ꯑꯐꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯅꯦꯅ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯇꯥꯔꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯍꯔꯖ꯭ꯋꯥꯗ ꯇꯥꯔꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗ ꯑꯩꯗꯤ ꯆꯠꯇꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯇꯦ ꯑꯩ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯋꯤꯛ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯑꯃꯨꯔꯛꯂ ꯑꯅꯤꯔꯛꯂ ꯆꯠꯂꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯆꯠꯂꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯟ ꯇꯧꯔ ꯂꯣꯏꯔꯦ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯦ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ PhD ꯅꯪ MO ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯦ ꯅꯪ PhD ꯀꯥꯟ ꯄꯥꯟꯗꯣꯏꯅꯣ ꯁꯤꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯃꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯇꯧꯋꯦ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯅꯪ ꯆꯠꯂꯣ ꯅꯪ MCS ꯊꯥꯅꯤꯡꯉꯩꯗꯤ ꯇꯣꯛꯊꯣꯛꯑ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ MOꯗꯣꯀꯣ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛ ꯊꯥꯔꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯅꯪ MO ꯊꯥꯅ MCS ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯆꯠꯂꯣ ꯑꯥꯗ ꯔꯦꯀꯣꯔꯗꯤꯡ ꯇꯧꯒꯦ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯣꯟꯂꯥꯏꯟ ꯊꯥꯔꯛꯀꯦꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯁꯤ ꯐꯝꯃꯜꯂꯒ ꯉꯥꯡꯈꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯨꯃꯤꯠꯇꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯕꯠ ꯌꯥꯔꯣꯏꯕ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯅꯪ ꯊꯥꯕꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯔꯥꯏꯠꯅꯤ ꯅꯪꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯅꯪ ꯆꯍꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯌꯥꯏ ꯅꯪ ꯑꯦꯁꯄꯥꯌꯔ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯕꯀꯣ ꯕꯠ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯅꯪꯅ ꯇꯣꯂꯣꯞ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯀꯛꯊꯣꯛꯄꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯁꯥꯎ ꯑꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯏꯅꯀꯣ ꯁꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯎꯅꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗꯀꯣ ꯂꯥꯏꯛ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁꯁꯦ ꯇꯝꯗꯣꯏꯅꯦꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁꯁꯦ ꯈꯪꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯁꯤꯚꯤꯜ ꯁꯥꯔꯚꯤꯁꯀꯤ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯩ ꯊꯥꯅꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯄꯩꯈꯥ ꯄꯥꯁ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯊꯥꯅꯩꯌꯦꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯏꯅꯀꯣ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁꯦ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯏ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯈꯪꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯉꯥꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯗ ꯃꯃꯤꯡꯒꯗꯤ ꯄꯜꯂꯔꯣꯏ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯕꯦꯡꯒ ꯁꯦꯠꯂ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯁ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯣꯏꯅꯦ ꯁꯤꯅꯦꯕ ꯐꯔꯦ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯨꯔꯁꯤ ꯈꯣꯠꯂꯁꯤꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯁ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯛꯀꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗ ꯃꯥꯁꯦ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯁ ꯑꯩ ꯒꯣꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯣ ꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯅꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯗ꯭ꯔꯤꯐꯥꯎꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯂꯥꯛꯈꯤꯔꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯅ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯄꯤꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏ ꯇꯥꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯤꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯀꯥꯏ ꯈꯪꯗꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯇꯣꯀꯣ ꯌꯥ ꯁꯣ ꯅꯪ ꯇꯧꯖꯔꯨꯔꯣ ꯀꯥꯏꯗꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯇꯨ ꯃꯥ ꯁꯦꯝꯄꯜ ꯌꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯅꯨꯃꯤꯠꯇꯨꯗ ꯀꯔꯞꯁꯟꯁꯨ ꯇꯥꯕ ꯃꯔꯛꯇ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯤꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯃꯔꯛ ꯊꯤꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯥꯡꯉꯤ ꯅꯣꯡꯉꯥꯜꯂꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯂꯥꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯁꯨꯡꯂꯥꯛ ꯂꯥꯛꯈꯤꯗ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯏꯅꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯝꯕ ꯌꯥꯎꯋꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ we only like civil servant ꯊꯥꯏ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤꯅꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯥꯏꯕ GS ꯀꯩꯀꯥ ꯅꯣꯂꯦꯖ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯣ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯤꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯄꯥꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤꯀꯣ ꯏꯟꯚꯥꯏꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯀꯅꯤ ꯒꯣꯕꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯂꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯏꯊꯤꯛꯁ ꯆꯥꯎꯈꯠꯂꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯒꯨꯗ ꯒꯣꯕꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁ ꯂꯩꯔꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯏꯊꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯒꯣꯕꯔꯅꯦꯟꯁ ꯂꯩꯔꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯁꯤꯚꯤꯜ ꯁꯔꯚꯦꯟ ꯄꯕ꯭ꯂꯤꯛ ꯁꯔꯚꯦꯟꯗ ꯚꯦꯂꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯛꯀꯅꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯧꯕ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯅꯣꯠ ꯖꯁ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯐꯪꯅꯕ ꯅꯪ ꯄꯩꯁꯥꯗꯨꯗꯤ ꯂꯨꯄꯥ ꯂꯤꯁꯤꯡ ꯀꯌꯥꯅꯣ ꯃꯣꯏ MCSꯅ ꯆꯥꯗꯣꯏꯗꯣ 45-70 something like that right 50 ꯑꯁ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯇꯦ ꯀꯅꯥꯕ ꯑꯗꯦ MCSꯅ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕ ꯆꯪꯕꯗꯤ ꯂꯨꯄꯥ ꯀꯌꯥꯅꯣ ꯆꯥꯔꯤꯁꯦ 이만하고 MCS 안 드시기 때문에 한기로 늦게 하자게 ꯑꯗꯣ ꯆꯍꯤ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯆꯥꯗꯣꯏ 12 lakhs ꯑꯗꯩꯗꯤ ꯏꯟꯀꯝ ꯇꯦꯛꯁ ꯀꯥꯒ ꯁꯝꯊꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯁꯤꯇꯥꯔꯥꯃꯟꯅ ꯀꯛꯊꯈꯤꯕꯗ 8 lakhs ꯍꯥ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯇ꯭ꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯅꯦꯀꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯄꯩꯁꯥ ꯆꯥꯗꯕ ꯆꯪꯉ ꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯁꯦꯂꯔꯤꯗꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯣꯏꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯀꯥꯏꯗꯦꯕ ꯏꯠꯁ ꯑ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯤꯚꯤꯂꯦꯖ salary da hoi de wa hadi public service to the authority kan pi hai ta salary ko hingna 30,000 za I don't have any complaint it's a privilege ne khan gdo hadi I can from later 30,000 na I pesa manage to lo financial management to lo ko su kai adu ya ne adu moi ko manipur gi MLA man na kwai pesa za wa ngani kwai to lo yam ba hai ta pesa za to lo kwai yam ba ngani moi masen pugen ne ga na moi masen ko moi na ta les de sim ji pham ga adu opposition ju leitre lo se moi na ka adu confirm ke test lei bam thoe da leitre adi moi na ye na khoi masen khana ta ga to he ke sip na bhai da do ya ka tha da ta de da ka yeah adu I think 1 lakh is more than enough okay for a salary hai ta adu dai hena chasan bi da ka oi de hai ta ba do pa am si kai te hom de am chop pi mo to we ba probably si corruption de ho do ne pesa pi ga chang kham ni pesa do hom moi chai to lo ti moi pi pesa do moi khang je ye ba so sai pi cha bi moi extra ne khal le wa mai na ka so si so aduna pesa pi de nan chang go so that sai nang salary do enjoy to ngam na ba so that sai manipur gi do kha to ngam na ba manipur MCS adai ba kai si ai yam bam dile dabu dabu bo na san bo bo na ko madi phan ta howe IIT Chennai ne ko so madi phan ta howe sum khoi ni yeng ba ado mai reputation ke ga jo to ko ta de ba ta gi di kha ta ado mai di ta de and ta ju ta ni ba da noi khang na noi lei na manipur se pik pa ma pham ne ba noi khang na le na ana hai ji ai thaina sum IS ko oi da sum IS ko thai ngai da sum khalam ba do ka ai pa so acharoi aduga napsri party to roi khemka gi tak ta ko backpack to ra dum lei kangbu do oi ne mo lo do kangbu do ka no mai mu di pai ne mi na hola ju kap tin na ka mai khajo mi ne adi office te pu sat ta ka adi corruption ya de ai na first day am office te kai pu sat ni khamra ha han ne ba no corruption allow na adu pu ra thiet ka ni ma ya ta da la adu de oi chha ta ka oi de man pisa pi ge la jo si to lo ka minister oi ga du oi ga si to lo सिगुम यावजदब हाइतारे आदि सिगुम गस ले यावजदब हाइतारे अदु तो हनिंग हाइतारे का अदु मयाम जे की नै हाइतारे अदु या से तो हनिंग हाइतारे थेखायो ने करप्शन आई करप्शन यादे थेला चलो एना दुगा सो बाय कनो दा सो बाय एग्जांपल नंग ना मिंगोन द भाषण पिउ द का दे सो बाय एग्जांपल ए मसी नुपा करप्शन तो दबनी पैसा सिकी जादब ने मी ने माइ थवक तोरमबगी नुपा क्वा लेरम दो हंदोक नुपा नि हाइना हल्लो का reputation mai semo and I think nangna at the end of your career ado at the nangi na chana su ma'am sida you set a good example right si to ro ko and adu mo ma'am du kar to ro ko du over the years to ro ko du gi last di aphawa administration le honge adu le chi ge shunga ya everything manipur cha khot ima le ba kan ba je dum dream gi ta to dum oi le nge kan ta yeng na na kam tam da kan to wi akoi ji kar ko kan akoi kar ko hin ne yeng na ma'am chang ngam re mo ne mi ne lai ge na paisa to ga opi gi paisa dak gi paisa ma'am to ga lai ge lak ma tam da lay no mi do nangi maman do le am ta ga di no they will not be able to buy it okay so na corruption je id kano so na hujam thinking view ba coming back to class handaki ko good governance day na December 25 ta tawani as if numi se dai dai type ta ka si je ma ti controversy thona gi ne good governance khango ba controversy da no good governance day na December 25 ta yeah so adu ba ne te ba adu ne ba kananogi birthday oibni aduga Christmas su tawa aduda Christian kangbu ina kam adi BJP to khuni makse adum kamni lenga hai tare mayam na ada Christmas nimiti da nang good governance day to ga office ka haje le di tar usittabra to ga kide yam to nagi bu ka adugudi government nang ngi ka mayam na su dum hai ka adi kangi birthday da to ne ka dawo de hai jmaina ka so na hadaki good governance day do aduda yemo good governance day aduda hadaki theme kaino aduga kana prize phange manipur gi prize phange aduga karamba IS officer or karamba government official na kari matangi damo prize pangine and that is a very good content for you yengo karamba ba yeah si je content ne ko yi yati phasa content ne aduna ga hapsal di ko adu handaki good governance day gi da theme do ken ting bi wa adagi nangna essay governance ki matam essay tharpa ade du tharpa ya ko ngoài ra da ana UPSC prepare tawse no ID SSC da fail hoini banking da ju fail hoini kaino da ID wakan khan da jingam jade ko anything to matam da wakan je khanjai hai ta ID phab ju ngam de ko I have a very weak memory okay and wakan khala ga thom da ka aduna best yone handa ki good governance de ki thim do kaino No, theme to hane ma. Keba? India's part to Viksit Bharat. Okay. Digitalization. Okay, empowering citizens through good governance and digitalization. Yes, good. I can even make it a essay question. Empowering citizens through good governance and digitalization. It can be a good essay question, yeah. Aduga, I'm thinking view ba Manipur or Northeast ki outstanding of a prize, and they give prize for civil servant who did exceptional work. Okay, and I have been reading this. I will read this good governance data. Or angang like tawa good governance data best practices ko. And niti ayog na best practices ma'am khomjin manebu ko. Aduga ko na and these are very important things. Aduga best practices sama Manipur gi ko ay ngasi ani hay ne bu ko. Eno da ko na si lo ga hay ko. Yes, this da ko na hap ya ko. Best practices to yeng view ka kan ba phangge do Manipur gi yaw tar ga de ka. Aduga next ta akhoi na law case studies na kaino qualitative substantiation gi ka adu do ka. So akhoi na swaina tawe niti for states na niti ayog ki initiative ni niti for states na ama thwe ka 75 inspirational stories of you niti for states ta 75 inspirational stories of Amrit Nivar rural women ka 75 inspirational stories for Amrit Nivar 75 inspirational story asina tego idoi ko idoi di Manipuri inspirational story ani yawe ko adu ne idoi ko 7 aina pire source to noina yingjabe yana ne ko 7 niti ayog ki niti for states ta 75 inspirational stories of Atmanivar rural women gi ka si isalamune no ma can and it can be written in women also. The governance ki matang to jata so women gi oibani na women gi na women empowerment the iba ba si case study se ka. So village level da kamai to ha matam sida district se Imphal ni gram panchayat na chingtha jigai lege di khang Imphal west east or no chingtha. So district ti Imphal ni Imphal aduga gram panchayat na chingtha da ka aduga swaina hai ka to village level federation BLF hai ka to village level federation Imphal is the oire ka to village level federation the top chingtha gram panchayat Imphal is district Manipur top chingtha gram panchayat Imphal is district labor top chingtha gram panchayat da became a plastic free zone ka self help group ki hoideni ka became a plastic free zone ka collected plastic waste amounting to 1000 kgs ka collected plastic waste amounting to 1000 kgs from the village and converse with so moina to is plastic 1000 kg mus khomjel le na ko village sudagi ka adedi moina PRIs ka panchayati raj institution tanare na ka and converse with PRIs and Manipur Pollution Control Board to generate awareness and economic gain. Siguro na discussion award after like that discussion award political nga to generate awareness and economic gain. To generate awareness and economic gain. So Manipur da plastic free oiba village na chaga plastic tagi akoina plastic awareness as well as plastic tagi economic gain phangju sa sagi akoina chingthagi akoina sagi akoina gram panchayat or village level kano sin to webo ka aduga amaduna kaino my village level federation chingthagi India Imphal East da leiba gram panchayat chingtha ji leiba aduga village dana kai ke village no mangal Canada village level federation mangal pi asli idesha ka mangal pi ba VLF and tengbang pi ba VLF na tawga to ne ka they have place to make the village plastic free zone chingtha village ya plastic free zone onhan gani na mona to ne ka ana sikade lakono ha matam sida kudumbasri scheme la mala kudumbasri scheme la no ado plastic se kilo da rupees 7 per kilo de adu 1000 komjen ta ga di 7000 pi ka plastic generate taw ado rural da di 7000 is a big amount adu ga mayam taw ji da ka it's a big amount adu ga plastic komjen de gam le ka sis ado di next ta notice ki jo mayam yawe ka ado aina manipur gi dan kana taw ne ka notice ki manipur si da ngor male ka na akhona sumba akhona niti ayog te changaga best practices kumba adugumba de akhona yengba yai ba ka si je akhona governance ki akhona chinge ba ka and aduga next view ba next kan se view ka silore ka next ta asai akhona governance and sustainable development goal governance and sustainable development goal. So governance and sustainable development goals akhona paad ba yar da masu direct and indirect like to mostly it comes as indirect akhona answer yi with sa with sustainable development goal hapam drawa constitution hapam drawa answer do complete oi hain khan ta hosti akhona amaga criteria ga yawre kaina supreme court judgment ka supreme court judgment akhona phawa tam ga da social issues ki ade economy ki environment ki phawa tam ga da sa do answer do is kam supreme court ki hapthar je hadakte Adiana Supreme Court judgment compilation lakine ba adu akhona to disi kamaina to dina ha matam da Supreme Court ese je akhona direct putho pha dia roi ba sai akhona social issues to matam da chana na hap khibido adu ne hena nuai ne ba ko so du to akhona pha ga chaladi paisa da kisu tholok te ba kisu iram de ba ko adu akhona social issues to matam da magi 2024 2025 ta important Supreme Court judgment ke legi ha ga adu ki context da akhona neiner ko matam da injal lo matam da akhona yayo so organic preparation so next view governance and sustainable development goal so sida essay bo hang ka makada essay ka good governance is the key to sustainable development good governance is the key to sustainable development so this can be a direct essay on the governance and sustainable development aduga sustainable development goals and 160 ga 9 indicators to yeng matam da kadoge ha matam da good governance and ethical governance ne achieve to ko yawaram so sustainable development goals kai da makha pon ha matam da governance da makha polam gyan ta na ko especially kai no ha matam da sustainable development masa makta governance akhon aba yawaram ko kai wai ha matam da ibiu atai mem jino yai ko poverty kai ga je ko and if you have a good governance which is inclusive which is equitable which is fair ga ha you indicator mem ko obviously poverty hunger they are going to go away okay distribution of resources and social resources they are going to improve okay adu do ne ba aduga sustainable development masa makta governance ki yawle me ba kai kai oge ha matam da sustainable development 16 goal number 16 je khambra it is about governance so na magi goal do kai no peace justice and strong institutions have ne ba so governance ka nan to wi institutions to we ba peace justice and strong institutions peace, justice, and strong institutions. Promote peaceful and inclusive society. Promote peaceful and inclusive society. So, sidi ka amtan tongo may governance na tanaka. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable developments. Doidore ka silor kanda akoina answer khre ini ka so that answer do na akoina to is ngai ginat ta akoina to is da hap ya bai angle do ubang bai yeng se ka promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable developments comma provide access to justice for all masagi indicator to the justice yawuni ka provide access to justice for all provide access to justice for all provide access to justice for all, and build effective accountability and build effective accountable and inclusive and build effective accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. Goal number 16 na hayo niko. So okay, goal number 16 guys, they pwede panade satra men panade education, health, environment, palo sila ko. So governance ito matanda. you can put sustainable development goal number 16, which is about inclusive, accountable, and effective institutions, which is to provide governance. So now 60 goal number 16 jida akoina point 16.1 then 16.2 ki target lai 16.1 then 16.9 bo ki target lai sila ado atay ma'am dino yengjero so goal number 16 jida akoina 16.1 then 16.9 bo ki target lai habi 9 target lai ko aduga 16.8 then 16. C bo ki tongano hapcha lai ko sidani RTI ga yari do right to information, which is about accountable government and transparent governance so idone ko aduga next sustainable development goal number 17 yam tin important ole me is na global governance ko so na governance SCA pa matamda if you include a dimension of global governance then no one is going to write about it, okay? And if you include it and if you mention sustainable development goal 17, okay, examiner is going to be like that you are going to get marks, okay? So now sustainable development goal number 17 basically it's about worldwide governance or global governance. So now partnership for the goals, global partnership for sustainable development, achieving the sustainable development. So magin juka yawi 17.1 then 17.9 yawi. So do man yawabani ko akogi machang oi bya ba tare aduga 17A then 17J bo yawi ko madi ko. So J A then A gi series na ko na hapsa ko male ko 17A then 17J bo yawi ko. Next akoina case study sama discuss tawse. Next akoina case study sama discuss tawse. That is Singapore model. ये अपने से अदो अपन मणिपुर सिंगापुर मॉडल से कंटेक्स्ट हम लेको कहीं ना अपने honorable XCM ना है मने का honorable जानता माय मीन पन honorable पन दबा honorable XCM ना है मने ना अपन ये सिंगापुर मॉडल जाम important right so माना है मणिपुर सिंगापुर दोनों तो होंगे नहीं है ना का फाल से का so कर्म हम लोग दिखंग जी है का जो अदो कमाई कर्म हम लोग दिखंग जी प्लेन ताऊ या वाला लंबी कहते ना भाई खर खबर लंबी नुआई ले adi thobagi lami nuai adagidi given to his credit ko so aduga moyang chepe lambi nuai plane ta bai obviously yani yung ke ka khang lok thok khadi plane am thowa ya do jane ka so to lambi di ma chat chat yo male ha ya yang pari lambi adagidi asigi ke ba may lambi ka aduga mo di block card thok chat ta san mo ko iti kui pyo ne ko kana de ka या लंबी फट्टी के खनब हेनी लंबी फट्टी के पैसा तंग कई नो हमरा अखोइना खंगेबा लंबी जी काम इंपोर्टेंट लंबी थोंग जी काम इंपोर्टेंट होगेना का मैम नदी सी वहन खंदवा अखोइ हाना खलम देबो को लंबी फट्टवा कमाइना अखोइना इकोनॉमी की मफंग की इकोनॉमी कमाइ चखत गे होय मैम हाइना कने ट्रेड एंड कमर्स यारे ट्रेड एंड कमर्स असमा kan लंबी दे चत लगेबो का कई नो लंबी फट्टर कांदा अखोइना कनो इकोनॉमी सोय हाइजे लंबी फवगा लंबी फट्टवा गाड़ी थोबो को गाड़ी यादबसे लंबी फट्टवने हेंने जानता गाड़ी यादबगी सेमबदे नंगी इकोनॉमी की पैसा जा hospitalization to bagi पैसा चंगने जानता अना मैं लंबी दे लेबो मी मैम इकोनॉमिक एडवांटेज है मैं लंबी चत मी मैम हेलम गने कई ना मतम सा गाड़ी दे सेमबदा साइकिल दे होरगा गाड़ी मसा दे होरगा गाड़ी चोबो सेमबदा को लंबी फतबसिना कंट्रीब्यूट तवे लंबी फतबसिना खंबा युमंगी पैसा अतोपदा थादगदो पैसा दो गाड़ी नि चतबा यादे मी इकोनॉमिक ड्राइवर होइने को चतबा यादे सेमकपदो सेमदबा यादे पोने गाड़ी जे सेमपदा पैसा चंगे अने कोइन हाइजे लंबी थोंग फबाइजने पॉलिटिक्स की ओबिगानो जस्ट इकोनॉमिक मफम चखपि ओबि हाइ लुपा गाड़ी सेबो जो नंग एक गाड़ी सेबम चंग मतने लुपा चंगा दे तावेने ना को स्प्रिंग गया यादा लुपा लिसिम मा तरो ज्ञान दावा पैसा अदु पैसा दुना तो थादा गदो दु गाड़ी सेम थरे सेम दो जादो लंबी फतम हाइला नंग मै लंबी थो खंगने मै लंबी थो फुन दे वाइ फुन दे खबरा मै लंबी दे नाली जिकम फम नाली खबरा शापेप लेबगी नकन दो अदु नाली ये गमने मैं लंबी दा ये नौपा प्रेम लेबा अखोइन केस क्या तौने चट लेबा आई मा थिन चली हलक यावे अस नोंगा चोरदि लोइबने हे जानता अदे मैं लंबी देना सोना तिदिम रो फोटो को से मु दे मैम चंगी खंगदो याव तारदे मु चटना दे मैं लंबी दम चटनेबा मैं लंबी जे ति थौनिंगे अखोइना खंबा अना लास्टली पोस्ट तंगे सिदि याम सिना भाइलेंट ओरे या वा लंबी याव लेता ना या लंबी यादे अस लंबी उफुन ग थोपदि ट्रक अमगा अना मैं एक्सीडेंट थोक जाव न ट्रक की मंगदा सुम थोन उफुन सुम चार मिन मैं ट्रक तो हिंगत केन तो उदाव को Oh, kano da phun thong man da. Ai yadre ha lambi tang sembiyo ha ne moida atai dei semo ha na teba lambi semo ja lo ni tori ado ah como ando aí ah oh aduna just ah adai mu lambi mu sani mu tok thokani mu singi ne mu haini road kamu yam to aspra pw ne mu tok thokani ba lo ni tai e chaning de ka su adi bun tho kan da ka aduga dana ha ja aduna khoi ji e ka da mai lambi ji ati tha ne ko ne ka ati tha noi da pre ati tha kala na pai thika da ka thika da nan mani pi mo de me ka thika da do tu ba ka tha da gre I think ati da mo reply to ko si 45 crore 45 crore ki session to pa aduga 15 crore tha da gre na iri e ko 15 crore lambi de thau yik ja ta remaining to kai tha ge to da noi da pre ga ai ji u da government office da ka ati tha ni ji lai nang na ne hoi di car ji thong de hoi di gai ba ja de sa ga tu pi sa la chi da ne ko se li ji si khom ji sim go ji da de se li ji ka thong da chang go ji di mo PhD di chang go ji de so koi lai ko se na ni ma ka ko PhD di chang nge PWD chang nge ma di ati ji kai thai khom da kano thai ma asi gi ngi rims ki ma doctor gi thai ba ka accident thok da phang ga da kano ji kai kai no ha bra na mama na phang ga da kai kai ji kai no phang bro bandit ba yaw ne me ba ti de di kham ba bandit phang ga da ko ta do yaw ne pi de ba ko si ma'am se reality da phang ba thai al na ma je khang de ati am thai khoi no ji khali je je khoi na tha ba every department ati thai khale khoi ba but with relevant question moi to na to ma da jal shakti yam tha ba khoi khali je Facebook page no sem ba aduga all the people ma'am na government na tha ba ati ma'am se khoi da tha la ga khoi na ati ji open no re ba ne ko cho information people information ne ati pi ma tam da adi section kano ai te yaw da ta adi ko adu ya ati ma'am se Facebook ta happy to ko so that everyone can come and read oh si ati ai moi na kem to dress oh this information lay ko ha je ko we don't know adu akhoi di ji moi government to thawak to ma'am se khoi da moi na hena chaw bai ta ta na no adi it is a democracy people government ni ko no na te tha ba ana da prim gi kano se ma gi intention se hapta khu di ate am tha se hapta khu din tha chale adu kala driver no oi jai de driver oi se ko ai ai de jai to ko PhD tha re adai di medical medicine gi tha re ayam tha ya ati ai se lambi gi tha re mau ji yam kan tha to na ma'am na dum hang na le na ada ai na mu case related ati ai tha revenue gi da adai di ngasai gi mo gi DP da department of personnel da semua as khana afabo officer jaw tha ta pirak pa adu RTI ko dima 30 days plus 30 days 60 days ngai phang tha ni ngai phang review chala kan ka so anyway buji khoina Singapore model to se ko this is the last okay no to ko model jo ha pe but Singapore model jina Manipur gi context sana ba hai ta ka so na Singapore gi model to matam sida khoina pongang ngang ba ro Singapore da chakhol ekhoi chakhol kan ni ha do ka adu to ka so adu mai to di mim so ina all the to khan ne ba yan ta le da ne Singapore cha mim som le da ne sima gi mim som le da ne kala kala ko mo ka so Singapore ji mai to we they got independent around 1965. It's a very small state, okay? So in India, India ka small state, but more data than idea like Singapore. They get independence around as the good leadership, which gives good governance. When we talk and this is the top. 1965 independence from independence from they have high unemployment. High unemployment in and they are underdeveloped. Poor infrastructure, high unemployment, poor infrastructure, and political instability. But give some 20 decades or 30 decades, improvements World Bank 2020 World Bank 2020 ki Human Capital Index Human Capital Index number 1 ta in world. This much development. Ada British ki kambu or UK ki inside parliamentarian kambu man committee sema Singapore model je moina study do ba. They find like three important aspect moina phangye ba. Kai phangye ha matam sida. Number 1 da moina 3 important phangye ba which can be applied to their country. Na dum ba Singapore model. Number 1 da moina kai phangye ha matam sida. Kano da Singapore da kai do ha matam sida. Because of their nature and their mindset, they always expect the worst. Policy they always expect the worst. The worst and they prepare for it. Just ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗꯪ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯋꯥꯈꯜ ꯈꯜꯂꯒ ꯇꯣꯛꯄ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯗꯤꯁꯀꯁꯟ ꯇꯧꯔ ꯇꯣꯛꯄꯗꯪ ꯅꯠꯇꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ they back it up ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ words ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯕꯗꯣ they back it up with resources they prepare for it with resources they prepare for it with resources funds and they prepare for it with resources funds and Canada. It is just not ngasagi akoina discussion natraga akoina ngasagi kanoda public discourse to nataba the administration and the system they expect the worst and they prepare for it. How? They put resources, funds, they allocate funds, they put resources, they allocate funds, and they give efforts, and they give efforts, and they give efforts to avert the outcomes of the failure. To avert the outcomes of the failure. So they prepare for the worst and they do it with substances. Okay? So they get always the best outcomes for any policies they have ever applied. Okay? Next, long-term thinking in government. India Manipur long-term thinking in government. So government plan policy long-term the plan long-term the plan which can withstand elections. Di lore election na to matamda Congress na payo si Modi na to mayam no ba reverse to gani Modi yung lagan na Congress na payo ko mayam no reverse to gani maming de horoga gyan tayo na ko but Singapore ke doge hamatam sta they actually plan for long terms which can withstand elections and change in governments shi model ji khoi to ya ayo ka which can withstand elections and change in governments ka aduga next exclusive focus on outcomes. So, see, India also learn to whether they take it Singapore model or not, governance matangda, warishana matamda, discussion to matamda, they will focus on outcomes. Aduna interview da hangi. What is the difference between output and outcome? Hangbra, ba? Output and outcome. What is the difference between output and outcome? You know? Hangbra is double dip coming. Output outcome is kind of. Output hai gane ho sida akoina Swachh Bharat mission da output hai gane 10 lakh toilet sare village ta hai ga this is output gyan ta ba outcome je output je 10 lakh toilet sa ta ga ju target je 10 lakh toilet sa bi target lai ta ga ju outcome di zero hai ba if no one uses the toilet mi cham dang toilet je 10 lakh toilet use to ba output is the 100%. Okay, and we have achieved the goal of the output but outcome can be still negligible or zero. India thobo policy ne. So na Swachh Bharat mission ki toilet loi sane ba everywhere toilet amroi ba nambo government school ki private government school ki toilet amta chang ngam ngamoi bad maintenance toilet is high che da di output ta yaw ne toilet sai toilet si machine na yana outcome di zero because it was not maintained, it was not used. Okay, sis ana Singapore ri kai doge hamatam they do not focus on outcome mi kaya PM Kisan ki scheme yorge je they don't care Singapore da they care PM Kisan je kai gi to khino mayam da poverty elevation to we to khini ana PM Kisan phangba farmer to poverty de elevate to ba to diba da focus to we gyan ta ana khoi sai de ke dore PM Kisan policy ma pi ge no ai policy ma da yu thok le de poverty ju oi health phatre ka ado Singapore ri they don't count paisa yo gi bi happy man ka do ni but kali gi same rin ho do na PM Kisan ke gi same rin no adi khwaidagi larba farmer ma'am se at least poverty dagi uplift toraga moida spendable money lainaba ne ba ana akoina huji India to is ne kaina they focus on the outcome prime minister ngang matamda IPM Kisan credit ki tawgi 6 lakh farmer tawgi ne hayo he will never say IPM Kisan dina 5 lakh farmer je ai poverty dagi chingthu e hai roeba because that is the outcome and India the output ta chatte ba outcome ta chatte yan ta ba huji budi outcome concept se lakna rabane we don't care about the output. Output is fazan be aina. So for example, simple one hai bada. Coaching institute mein amna they have like chahi kudingi thousands of output of student, but outcome de dikai no pekam be khande zero outcome. Okay, so see, ana India the husi say still manrega the mi kya pi gre, adu kya pi gre, adu kya pi gre. They focus on the output. Janta ba. Outcome ne manrega se mi kai. Poorest of the poor do thabo phangalaga economy income dule halaga spendable to halaga mathaka khinam ne ba. And the money gaida 100 to 100 to thou pire but masagi outcome mathak ta ka gi report to them the yaw ga dum money ga to lai target the policy is a failure according to the Singapore and Singapore government focus on the outcome not on the output Okay, seasonable. They completely exclusively focus on the outcome. Okay, they don't care if they provide 10,000 rupees to thousands of farmers. But what they care is that 10,000 people kay adu outcome the farmer mem to focus to adu matungina failure or success determine to adu matungina policy change or intervention to ne ba. That is why Singapore model is one of the top model because they actually focus on the outcome. So and India ID ke dore hek hairoga 6 lakh farmer da PM Kisan ki paisa yong gai hai ne ba, which is not thaktok cha tho mani adu thaktok cha tho mani ta hanagi wa awa me ama pitho mani ta adu to ni outcome didn't lack there. So next last ka Singapore model ki ka fajaba ma they innovate test and rigorously evaluate policy. They innovate test and rigorously evaluate policy. They innovate, test, and rigorously evaluate policy. With a well-oiled civil servant or bureaucratic system. With a well-oiled civil servant or bureaucratic system. With a well-oiled civil servant and bureaucratic system. The last well-oiled. Anything ethics ki paning matam da civil servant public service ki matang da anything paning matam da I always open the Singapore ki civil servant ki website to open to da because I get inspired by it. Okay, that to idea ano idea ka ako na AI je to dinga da ko in 2016-17 da I na prepare to matam da ka AI ke je to dinga sai da AI ke lak dinga da ko Singapore ki civil servant ki ko they were made accustomed with AI. Magazine they civil servant AI to the protection to ni kamay to 2016-17 da uji to ko na kan ChatGPT kan tong rai je ka mi 2016-17 yaw ga adogi matik Singapore civil servant system da adogi matik advance hoye adogi matik innovative hoye ka and last but not the least civil service ki training lower sida civil service ki training ja it is not just another social gear ba city IS kai oine IS oine je kai na social status wang ba civil Singapore ki civil service ki ma'am ri ke do ha matam sida. So it is not about social status. It is about actual civil servant or public servant duty. They invest in the future leaders. They invest in the future leaders. So na ni kedore. So na ni pension kat no hona lady thoda. Pension kat no hona lady ka instead of investing in the futures ka. So na ako ni Singapore model jeng mas ngasi daging ngango matam sila. These are few of the points with atopa country na Singapore governance model just study to wala. They found this one and there may be more. But these are the ones they have found. Okay. Yan tayo. So na, season na question kitang i-view ba? Question ka. Like, masaya ko na governance stories da kari-kari khumbang ang ganda have the ka. So hindi siya ba? Kung na masaya ito ibo po to da. So na CD ko na thinking ini ko. So you do not write it on the paper actually, but you can think, okay? In terms of 150 words, 200 words, and 250 words, you can think, okay? And you can write, okay? So dito ka. So na amtang i-view ba? Essay da direct o ba essay gumba ka? Direct over essay gumba ka. Like citizen-centric governance is no longer an option. Citizen-centric governance is no longer an option, but a necessity. So direct o na sumay hang pa yaw ka. Sida na nga say citizen-centric o ba na say ko na governance ki tam given dimension kay kamayam ko na hapsen ba yaw ka. Next, indirect ko essay da kamay lakani ha matam sada yang sebo ka. The price of poor governance is paid by the most vulnerable. The price of poor governance is paid by the most vulnerable ka. So sa kun tong remem do. Adi ang iru no ko matamahan kan de ko wakan di nang na to ga asidi introduction swai ra ba dimension ke hape ba so chim to khot pe ai ko and this thinking wakan khan gi do na he actual ta kha ta na kan ru ka. The price of poor governance is paid by the most vulnerable ka. Adi di akoina se GSC question na pe jeng si ba GSC question da ka. Question jeng si ka. This examine the role of e-governance. Examine the role of e-governance. Examine the role of e-governance in improving public service delivery. In improving public service delivery in India. examine the role of e-governance in improving public service delivery in India. Ka sung mujhe hang pa adi 150 words question da ka. Ade question ngai view ba. How does mission Karma Yogi? How does mission Karma Yogi? So she with this specific oye, but other issue still it's about governance, about bureaucratic and civil servant setup to nika. How does mission Karma Yogi aim to reform India's bureaucratic capacity? How does mission Karma Yogi aim to reform India's bureaucratic capacity? Next up, discuss how, sina 200 words ka. Discuss how centralization strengthens democratic governance in India. So governance says kano sagi economic, social resources ma'am deal to public serve to buni kana to do no political ji kana odo no am matam sida dictator be communism be adu be but India gi democratic governance hai one ka. So discuss how centralization strengthens democratic governance in India. Discuss how decentralization discuss how decentralization strengthens democratic governance in India with the help of recent trends in Panchayati Raj institutions. With the help of recent trends in Panchayati Raj institutions. So si mahang pe si question ji mahang pe ka. So wakan khalo hai bani ko question hang kan hang wa ham te wakan do phasana khan graba point kha yong khan graba. That is nang adu question ji any question ha pa matam na khumang amni ham ne ko. How can governance deficit in conflict ridden regions ka? How can the governance deficit yam lai re makano the conflict ridden regions the ka? How can governance deficit in the conflict ridden regions like Manipur or Kashmir? How can the governance deficit in conflict ridden regions like Manipur or Kashmir be addressed through administrative reforms? So second year sigi lakto ni ka through administrative reforms. So nga sidi second year sido nang dre hayeng do second year sigi samba o matong na sika. How can so second year sije public administration law kamu me second year sigi rama ba ma ko dum phange cmd haina bi kana har me se khama ko da is ko da darbi na har me ko ma di second year sigi phal pa ma di ma ai public administration pa bote do sar gi da khatam me do second year sigi da poi di i ne ma dum khale ma gi dum phange hai ma na ka ma so na second year sigi ni be addressed through administrative reforms. So last question da see 15 marks question ni ka last question da 15 marks question da ka. Good governance is not merely about efficiency. Good governance is not merely about efficiency. Good governance is not merely about efficiency. Masai ye khona efficiency di outcome output yam lei do efficient wang ba ko ka but outcome or ka ni ka. So na good governance is not merely about efficiency but also about so efficiency you ni but also about justice, equity and accountability. But also about justice, equity, and accountability. So do na ne dana noida class ta yaw hai je ka so noi online there mem do ai to do ai ta khang dre so na yeah so si je ka so do so na si na exclusive oi ham nate but at least something direct governance ki mata na hang su akhona kanom hamning asu governance ki indirect ka you will be able to put something just good governance index tang indicator tang hapam matam da mayam amta hapam mon hapam matam da you will get some extra marks. Okay. Yeah, so hayang technology, hayang important na ko hayang di out some of second year report. Second year report say how the level say mari mga para ni na ko. It's very familiar to me. Okay, I can do it. Okay, if you are afraid of it. Okay, so na hayang technology.